Okay, cool.
Okay, we're live.
Hi everyone. Welcome to the virtual event, Women in Wikimedia Technical Spaces. My name is Maria Cruz. I'm the Communications and Outreach Manager in the Community Engagement Department at the Wikimedia Foundation. Here with me today is Srishti Sethi, who is a colleague also working in the Community Engagement Department. And my other co-host is Rachel Farrant. And without any further ado, I'm gonna give the room to our presenters. The first presenter is Josephine Lim. Josephine, would you like to go ahead and get started?
Okay, sure. Hold on a second. Let me turn on the screencast. Okay. And yeah.
Yes, we can.
Cool. Hi everyone. Thanks for inviting me. I'm Josephine, and I'm the project maintainer of the Wikimedia Commons app. So today I'll just be talking a little bit about my involvement with the app and the app in general and the other women on our development team. So a little bit of history. I go by Misal Chan on Wiki and on GitHub, and I'm an Android app developer, and I first started working on the app in 2015 as an Outreachy intern. So for those who aren't familiar with Outreachy, it's a program for underrepresented communities in open source software to spend 3 months working in I applied for an individual engagement grant to continue work on the app, and was successfully awarded the grant in June 2016. So in September 2016, Nicholas Rau was the first project maintainer of the app, and my mentor during my outreach internship. He offered me the role of project maintainer, and so I've been the maintainer since then. In 2017, I collaborated with Wikimedia Czech Republic to organize a pre-hackathon in Prague and scholarships for our team to attend the Vienna hackathon. More about that later. And I am currently the mentor of Google's work and Outreachy 2018. More about the app. You can see the screenshots on the left, and the main purpose of the app is to allow users to upload photos to Commons from their mobile phone without needing to use a browser or a computer. Currently, lots of photographers, they just use their mobile phone. They don't carry cameras around with them. We thought it was kind of pointless for them to need to upload the photos onto their computer and then go to the browser, the upload wizard, and upload to Commons from there. So it would be a lot easier for people to do it directly from the mobile phone if that's what they're using to take the pictures. And it's also good for people who don't actually have a personal computer but have a smartphone, which is the case for a lot of people in developing countries, which are especially the places that we want more photos on from. Yeah, that's the main purpose of the app. It was actually started by the Wikimedia Foundation. But in 2014, they took it off the Play Store because they had a lack of resources for maintaining it. And it was revived by the community in 2015, or precisely by Nicholas. And currently it's maintained by individual engagement grantees, which are myself, another girl, Nestle Hunter, and Vivek, and a whole bunch of volunteers who have been absolutely amazing in contributing code or helping us with publicity, providing suggestions and everything. So the code of the app is completely open source. It's available on GitHub under the Apache license 2.0. So on the left, you can see the login screen and the contribution screen, which shows all of the photos that you have uploaded recently. On the top toolbar, you can see the camera icon, which if you tap on it, it allows you to go into your camera mode and take a photo automatically and upload it directly from there. Or you can choose the gallery mode, which lets you go into your gallery and select a photo from there. So even though our main purpose is to allow uploads to commons, there are a couple of features that we hope provides our users more convenience over those who use the browser. So on the left is a screenshot of the nearby places feature that is currently in our development branch. We actually have the feature released for users on Google Play already. But this new development actually allows people to focus directly from places. So let's start from the beginning. The map of nearby places is places around you, your current location, that need pictures, places that don't have a picture associated with their Wikidata item. So Wikidata places the user of those criteria and displayed on a list of. So that's the current version. And in our next version, which we hope to release next week or so, users will also be able to do what you can see on the left there, which is to upload directly from it, which will pre-fill the title and description fields with the fields of the Wikidata item and provide category suggestions based on the Wikidata item that they are uploading from. Speaking of category suggestions, that's a feature that we're actually really proud of. Because as you can see, there's a picture of pancakes that I just uploaded. And I typed pancakes in the title. And when I was brought to the category screen, you can see that I haven't actually typed anything in the search field. But there's a whole bunch of suggestions that are quite appropriate for the picture that I uploaded. So there's blueberry pancakes and pancakes directly suggested because I titled it Blueberry Pancakes. And a few other types of category suggestions are geolocation, as in if you take a photo standing in front of the Sydney Opera House and you enable geotagging in your camera, the app will detect the coordinates that are embedded in the image information and provide category suggestions based on the commons categories that are created. So Sydney Opera up and a whole bunch of other categories that are around a certain radius of that location. So a few statistics from our Google Play Developer Console. You can see the final installs on the left. Unfortunately, the Google Play doesn't allow us to start all the way from the beginning in one graph. So that one starts from 2016 at 1,000 users and goes all the way up to 3,500, which was taken just today. And on the right, you can see the installs in the last 30 days by country. So I really like that we have a good distribution of users across the globe. As you can see, not just the global north is represented, but a lot of global south countries in Africa, Asia, South America, which I think is a very valuable source of information, especially commons images. And a few more statistics. In the histogram, you can see the number of uploads and deletions that were made through the app. So this one tracks all the way back to 2013, which is when the app was first created by Wikimedia Foundation. And you can see the little dip in 2015, which is when it was pulled from the Play Store. And in late 2015, it came back on the Play Store as a community app. And that's where you see the graph going up all over again. And so the last few quarters are quarters where the app was funded through an individual engagement grant. So we're really happy to see the deletion versus new upload statistics, because it's a really good indicator of the quality and usability of the images. Like one of the concerns that people had about the app was that users would upload a lot of crap through it, selfies, copyright violations, and everything. So we had to really take care to make sure that we tracked the uploads through the app to ensure that wasn't the case. And we are very happy to say that the red bars, which signify the deletions, are maybe 10 to 15% of the total uploads, which is very encouraging. And there's also the distinct images used in Wikimedia articles that were uploaded through the app that we pulled from a glamorous query. So you can see that over 11,000 images were used in articles, which is again really encouraging because it shows that the pictures being uploaded through our app are actually used to improve articles. And that came in the Vienna Hackathon 2017. And that's the picture above, and the picture below is taken from the Prague pre-hackathon that we organized the weekend before the Vienna Hackathon in collaboration with Wikimedia Czech Republic. That's actually their office. So we're really happy with the diversity that we had in our team, I think, because people came from a variety of nationalities and cultural backgrounds. And the gender split was almost equal, which is quite unusual for an open source development team. Just a brief introduction to the three women that you see there. One is myself. The other is Nestle Hunter. She's the assistant project maintainer. She helps with merging the pull requests that the volunteers send to us. As in, if somebody wants to contribute to the app, they submit a pull request on GitHub, which has their code, and we review it and decide if we want to take it into the app proper. And so she helps with that, with the code review. She's also a co-grantee, one of the three people involved in our current individual engagement grant. So she does mostly user interface development for us. So our workflow is usually that she would submit mockups for community discussion based on how we think we want the feature to look. And after that, she will develop the user interface by putting buttons where they need to go, and she the themes, the navigation. Backend implementation, which is the queries to servers and all the code that goes on behind the screen. And the other girl in the photo is Dino Kumar Asiri. She's a volunteer volunteer contributor to the Commons app, and she works as a software engineer, and she does a lot of work in open source development. So yeah, I'm really happy to have had a chance to work with both of them and with the rest of the team. So here are some links for where the app can be downloaded, and our GitHub code repository, our website, and our Facebook page, which was recently set up with the help of some friends, because we're all pretty bad at social media as developers. And yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you so much, Josephine, for sharing your work in the MediaWiki environment. Next up is Ciel and Danielle, who will be sharing about their hackathon, the hackathon they are planning. And after that presentation, we're going to have some time for questions and conversations. So if you have questions for either presenters, make sure that you write them down. Ciel, I think you're muted.
Je microfoon staat uit. Ik hoor je niet. Jouw microfoon staat uit. You're muted.
Your go.
Yeah, you were muted the whole time, so I think you need to start again. Right. Sorry, I don't see any slides and I can't hear Seal, so I'm not sure if that's just my problem on this end.
Oh no, I can't hear either.
Yeah, well, hopefully me.
Seal, I think you're unmuted now, so you could talk.
Yeah, and show your.
Can I?
Yeah. Yeah.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, but
You
I
can?
don't see the
Oh, finally.
Yeah, and your slides. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. And my slides. Okay, here goes. Well, Wikimedia Netherlands received a very generous private donation this year, and it was for the project Nature and the project Gender Gap. And the board left it up to us to hand in
ideas.
What we wanted to do with the money. And we decided we have a history of Wiki Saturdays and Wiki Fridays in which the office is open and we invite people to come in and work together. And we decided we wanted to.
Oh. I think she crashed.
Oh dear.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Our partners generously.
Oh.
Sorry?
Your presentation went. Well, you went with it, but the presentation, the slides are not showing.
Danielle, doe jij het maar. Ik weet
that
niet
works
wat
now.
het is.
Well,
Right.
I think it works. We'll try again, and I'll make sure I have the slides available as well if we need to switch.
Yes.
We'll go.
One of our partners offered their the Dutch Royal Library offered their cooperation to us, and they are hosting us from May the 10th till the 12th in this year. So we just opened our registration. We're inviting 20 women to join us for coding and hacking. They should either know Wikipedia and want to learn how to hack or do Python or do a Sparkle query on Wikidata or do coding, or they should know how to code and want to learn Wikipedia. And we're going to have 2 days of workshops and socializing, and have about 8 to 10 mentors available for them and workshops. We do full scholarships, so we have hotel and meals every day, and so open for women of all sorts, women and non-binary people. And they must be prepared to come back in October, November. We're planning to have another hackathon then, and they should then share what they have done and what they have learned in the meantime. And why is this? Because of the gender gap, the tech gender gap. So developers within the Wikimedia world are make out about 15% of all people involved. At the hackathon, there are about 20 to 30% women, and we thought we should increase the amount of women involved in our project. Danielle, you wanted to tell us why just for women and non-binary.
Yeah, that's right. As Seal already mentioned, we organize a lot of other activities with our gender gap group already. That's usually what we call Wiki Fridays and Wiki Saturdays. They are open for everybody who's just interested in collaborating on the Wikimedia projects, mainly like Wikipedia Commons and Wikidata. We organize the Wiki Fridays in a library, like a women's history library, so there's lots of books available to extend articles on Wikipedia, for example. It is open for everybody. It's mainly women who participate, and we offer either a very nice environment to work on articles, stroopwafels, like a perfect Dutch cookie, and our help. Just, it's very individually. If you have questions on certain topics, then you can ask us. There is always 2 or 3 people available from our gender gap. But this time, after we had the public donation, which was a quite large amount of money, we were asked what else we would like to organize, or how we would like to improve the participation of women on the Wikimedia projects. And where we normally focus our writing Fridays and Saturdays and our editathons mainly on improving Wikipedia articles, we now chose to go more for the technical aspect on the Wikimedia project. On the Dutch Wikipedia, we think about 12% of the contributors are female, and as Seal said, probably in the development area it's a little bit higher, but still not very equal to men, for example. And we decided to organize this hackathon, and also decided after a long deliberation to make it women and non-binary people only, which came after long conversations between ourselves, because initially we were probably more leaning towards including everybody and just have an open event like we normally do with our editathons and writing Saturdays and Fridays. But the experiences of for example, the hackathon that has been organized in Vienna, where that it was particularly empowering to women. Well, where I say women, I also mean constantly non-binary people. So it was particularly empowering for women to come together in a setting with just women, because they felt more able to ask their questions and show their competence and incompetences, and that it was generally a safer environment for technical development. And so that's why we decided in the end to make it a women-only event. And I think Sandra Rientjes, our director of Wikimedia Netherlands, she said also, in an ideal world, it wouldn't be necessary to have a women-only event in this case. But unfortunately, we're not there yet, this ideal world. And I think, because when we posted the message, the announcement of this women hackathon, or tech storm, as we like to call it, as in like brainstorm or game storm, in this case is a tech storm, to meet each other and to learn from each other, to teach each other and to learn from each other. I think it's important to realize why we make it a women-only event, and that's not out of some false or misplaced feeling of superiority towards other groups or towards cisgender men, but we think for emancipatory reasons it's better and more effective to, in this case, limit it to women and non-binary people. And our follow-up event in November will be open to anybody who wants to participate. So you can come together with somebody who participated this time, or so the follow-up event, and of course the projects that might be started up the rest of the year, they're all open for everybody, like all our events. It's just the event from the 10th to the 12th in The Hague in the Royal Library that will be just women only. So do you want to continue, Seal, if there's anything we want to add about the program?
Is there anything else to add? Well, the program, people can register until the 9th of April, because we have the hotel rooms. We need to make sure our reservations are in order, and our program actually is what people want to learn. So when you register, you say what you want to learn, and the program hasn't been designed yet, and the mentors haven't been invited yet. We're in the process of doing that. So we're going to invite somebody who knows a lot about Wikidata and can teach you Wikidata. We're going to invite somebody who knows Python and can teach you Python. If you want to learn Sparkle, we'll invite somebody who knows how to do a Sparkle query. And so that's all still in the progress. It hasn't been decided yet. Yeah.
And maybe it's important, or at least interesting, to mention that because we had this large private donation, it gave us the opportunity to give out full scholarships. So for board and food, and especially for all the workshops, because that's what we are using the donation for. And our main aims for the hackathon or the tech storm is that we want to make women and non-binary people feel welcome and also feel at ease, and make them feel they can grow and improve, and that they can be part of our Wikimedia projects. Yeah, so I think that's most important thing we wanted to say about it.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and what Seal mentioned, for us it's very important that we haven't made a program yet, but we're going to adapt the program to whatever it is that people who want to participate indicate they would like to learn, whether it is making your own bot program or going more into Wikidata or make an application. Of course, we have as a gender group ourselves also some wishes what we would like to create, for example, or the knowledge we would like to acquire during these 3 days. So we are in that sense sort of part of what the eventual program will be in the end.
Thank you. Thank you so much for presenting about this event that you're planning and doing it in such a meaningful way as well. So I think with that we're going to move to the conversation part of the meeting. And here I want to encourage, if there are any other community members on the YouTube stream or here in the virtual room, please also feel free to come in with your questions, or if you would like to answer one question, that would be super welcome. I think Rachel has a question that she would like to ask at the moment. Is that right?
Yeah, sure. Just making sure you can hear me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. Yeah. Thank you, all three of you, for those presentations. They were really cool. And I just want to say I love the name TechStorm. Shrishti, Maria, and I thought a bit about some questions asked. So our first one is bringing it to a little bit more of a personal level, if that's okay, and no worries if it's not. But what attracted you all, and this is a question for all three of you, anyone who wants to start, what attracted you all to contribute to Wikimedia in the first place, and what made you stay, and kind of in the context, especially if there's anything about gender involved in that answer?
Well, maybe if I start. I started actually only like 2 years ago, and I remember exactly when, because it was International Women's Day 2016, and I saw these events organized by Wikimedia Netherlands where you could write on Wikipedia, and there was a huge list, and I just thought that's something I'd like to do. And I met this amazing group of people who helped me and who showed me a lot more than just Wikipedia, and I got lost in Wikidata. And what's keeping me there? Partially the ambition to get more women aboard this project, because it's amazing what knowledge is hiding in all our projects. And yeah, I find it important that women are represented, not only women as contributors, but also women in the articles. We have, in my opinion, a rather low representation of females on Wikipedia, on the Dutch Wikipedia. So I find it important that, for women in this modern world, where Wikipedia is often the first source of information people see when they Google something, that also women are represented there. And well, that means, at least for us, there's still enough to do for the coming 10 years, probably. So, yeah, that's what attracted me and what's keeping me at the moment. So.
Yeah, I agree with Danielle. Wikipedia is the first source that people usually see. If you Google something, it's usually the first link that shows up. And for those of us who grew up in the technology age, doing school assignments, college assignments, and Wikipedia is a total lifesaver. Every college kid knows it. So when I was looking for an organization to contribute to, in science, Wikimedia was definitely at the top of the list because of the open source culture and the egalitarianism in general. It was so inclusive, and we really felt, all of us who worked for the project, we really felt that we were making a difference in the world in general.
So for me, I came back from traveling traveling to New Zealand back in 2006, and I did a search on, I think it was either Fire Lab, a racehorse, or the Cook Islands I visited. And I saw the articles on Wikipedia and thought, I know more about this. And it was the sharing of knowledge that Wikipedia gave to me that I liked back then, and I still like. I like to share my knowledge with people and learn people how we can teach other people about our own interests and things we like. I like sharing the knowledge for free. I think that's good.
Yeah, I find that very interesting that you mentioned that, because like a week ago or so, I learned for the first time how I could see how many people had looked at the articles that I've written specifically. And I saw it was, well, I'm writing articles about, 2 years now, and I saw that last year in 2017, over, what was it? Like over 500,000 people on the Dutch Wikipedia had read my articles, the ones that I started. And I was like, that's 500,000 people that wouldn't have found that information when they were looking for it. I mean, assuming nobody else would have written those articles, but I don't know, that contributed to the feeling, that you're sharing, giving away a lot of information, and that just feels good. Yeah.
It does.
Cool. In your personal journey as a Wikimedian, have you ever encountered any boundaries, and what were those boundaries, if so?
No, I can't say I have, actually.
No, me neither. No?
No.
But it is true that, yeah, it is true that you, cause my name, is ciel, it means blue sky in French, but I pronounce it as ciel. And, people that read my name on Wikipedia never assume that I'm a woman. I'm always a man. I'm always male. And you really have to prove or say, no, I'm a female admin. And all of a sudden their behavior is differently, and it is different, but it never was a boundary to me. But there is a difference.
Yeah, that's actually really funny.
Is it?
Yeah, because has a Google Summer of Code mentor for this year. We have applicants contacting us about our project. So my GitHub picture and my Meta Wiki picture is a boat in New Zealand. And so I guess people just make the assumption that you're a guy, because I got a whole bunch of emails saying, "Dear sir, could you please guide me in this project?" So yeah, I haven't said anything to them yet. I'm not sure if maybe if you're watching this, then they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm one of the OTRS people replying to people who email Wikipedia. And they always assume I'm male. Always. It's.
Yeah, for me it's actually the opposite, because as soon as I started writing for Wikipedia, I was a very active, and some would say loud, member of the gender gap group. And I have a neutral username as well, but from the moment I participated, people always assumed the exact opposite, that I was female, because I was part of the gender gap group. Well, they're right, but and I know this for sure, in the sense that I've always been very careful with my say like Wikipedia persona, not to refer to myself as he or she or anything. And then I don't know, right from the beginning, they always referred to me as she. And also when I became, because you're talking about boundaries, I don't have any particular specific boundaries apart from maybe some mental ones, because at some part last year I wanted to be an admin on the Wikipedia. And I don't know how it goes on the Wikipedias, but then there is some kind of like you present yourself and people have to say whether they're in favor or against. And I had questions which is logical, but they were all related to my capability of being a neutral admin while being a gender gap member group, as in would I remove articles on women, or would I just keep them in the Wikipedia because they're women and I need, so I found that a little bit, well, shocking really, to assume that because I'm a woman or because I'm part of such a diversity work group that I wouldn't be a neutral admin on a Wikipedia, because I don't know, I've never seen men getting asked the same questions. So that was more like not a barrier. It didn't stop me, but it was a bit surprising.
Would you like to ask the next question?
Okay, so I want to ask, is there someone that you feel like you have learned a lot from in the Wikimedia movement? Did you have a mentor? Is there anyone that made you feel empowered to be a contributor?
Yeah, I definitely have a mentor too, actually. When I first started contributing to I was mentored by Stephen Nijielski from the mobile app team. I'm not sure if he's still there. And Nicholas Raoul, who was the person who put the app back on the Play Store as a community maintained app. And Nicholas has actually really throughout my journey in Wikimedia. He has stayed with us with the app all this time and provided lots of advice, suggestions, code changes, and for everyone, there are people who make a huge difference in our lives and in our careers, and I would say that he really did. That's the reason why I started because some people are so supportive. You feel that they really want you to succeed, and they don't see your gender as a barrier at all.
Well, I as I said, I joined in 2006, and IRC was big then. I played games on IRC, and then I edited Wikipedia, and I saw we could connect through IRC as well. There was a tight group on IRC. We even did puzzles, like crossword puzzles, in every Friday evening, when the Saturday newspaper came in. We did the crossword puzzles, and I learned a lot from user Iets Anders, Lodewijk de Lauf. He's known from the Wikilost Monuments competition, and we're good friends now, and there were a lot of people on IRC that really helped me, and I lost connection, I think.
Well, and for me, it sounds maybe really cheesy because she's actually sitting here, but for me, it was Seal, because she was and is a member of the Gender Gap, and we just got in touch. And apart from being an expert on Wikipedia, and she knows everything about everything else when it comes to Wikimedia. So she definitely was and still is one of my great examples.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what you. Yeah.
Sorry, lost connection there.
You missed that part.
Rachel, would you like to ask the next question?
Yeah, sure. And that's high praise, Seal, knowing everything about everything. That's great.
Yeah.
I have another question, but I'll maybe pause for a second to see if anyone else on the on Blue Jeans has one before I go. Okay. I was curious if any of the three of you were either closely involved in the creation of the Code of Conduct or followed it closely for the technical spaces, and then whether or not you were involved or followed it closely as it was being created. In the last year or so, have you seen a change or not about the way developers contribute and collaborate and treat each other?
I haven't been involved.
I actually was. I actually attended a session in Wikimania, Italy, about that. I wondered where it went because it's not on our IRC channels yet, and it's supposed to be. The Code of Conduct is meant for the IRC as well, right? It's technical spaces.
Yeah, it's meant to be for all technical spaces.
Yeah, so I was wondering about that, where it went. Sometimes it can be rude on IRC.
I don't know the answer to this, but I wonder if it's an implementation challenge since we don't actually own IRC. It's a lot easier for us to control what happens on sites where we can do things. But that's worth looking into. I'll make a note, see if I can figure that out. And I'm Maggie, by the way. Hi.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi. Thank you.
Josephine, do you have any?
I think we're ready for the next question.
Oh, sorry. Josephine, do you have any thoughts on the Code of Conduct, or have you seen that it has changed impacted the way people collaborate and talk to each other?
I haven't actually been closely involved with the creation or any of the changes. I went to media in 2015, but is this the same safe space policy that's used in hackathons, or is it different?
It's different.
No, it's not the same.
Yeah, I'll put a link to it in the chat here, and then maybe we can make sure it gets on the YouTube recording definition as well.
Okay.
Good. So, the next question. Have you tried bringing more women into the project or movement to contribute in technical spaces? And what is the experience like?
When I first started working on the app, it was basically just me and my two mentors. We had a user base of about 10 people and no other code contributors. But gradually over the years, especially when we were able to offer scholarships for the hackathon product before the Vienna hackathon last year, we did see new contributors joining who were female, and I think that in general, if you know the right places to post to other female developers, like outreachy mailing lists or other female developers together community. It's actually pretty easy to find fellow female developers to join you, even though we might be a minority in general. But we sort of push each other. So I think that if you're a female developer, it tends to be easier to get other female developers in, as opposed to if your team is all male. Yeah.
Well, I think our biggest effort right now will be the hackathon when it comes to women actually in specific technical spaces. We did like a year ago, 1.5 years ago, we had a Wikidata meeting for ourselves organized for the members of the Gender Gap work group. And I think, as I try to explain at least, the hackathon will also be, because we have 2 women who are actually very good at the technical stuff. One of our members, Sandra, is currently working on the Commons project, on the structured data Commons project. And Jane, one of our other participants, she is very good with Wikidata. So from there, I mean, they are a big help in forming the ideas what technically we want to learn ourselves and what we want to involve other women with. So we have brought a lot of women to the projects, but at the moment not specifically technical space to the technical parts of it. But the 2018 will be our year for that, I hope. Yeah.
Next question.
Okay, it's a bit easy one, I would say. It's more about work life, or rather work balance. Curious to know, how do you find a balance between your professional and volunteer work that you do with Wikimedia?
Yeah, good questions. They're not, for me, they're not. Let's say I work in IT, but not as a developer. I'm more like I build intranet. So for me, it's still separate worlds. And how do I find a balance? I don't know. I'm not even quite sure if I do find a balance, because there is so much to do on Wikipedia or on other projects that it's easy to be sort of overwhelmed by everything that you want to be part of or that you want to participate in, and stuff you want to organize and articles you want to write. I don't know. I think for me, that's one of the reasons why we also called it a tech storm and not specifically a hackathon. It is also about bringing people together and obviously, learning from each other and teaching each other. But it's definitely also about bringing those 2 worlds, like either you know a lot about coding or you know a lot about the Wikimedia project, and bringing those worlds together where one group can learn from the other and vice versa. So I'm not a technical person per se, but bringing people together is what I do in my professional work, if you want to, via technical spaces, if you want to call digital spaces technical. But so a balance, I'm not quite sure. I don't think I have a balance, but that's all I can say really about it, I think.
For me, after almost 12 years, I do my job. That's at my job. And when I'm back home, on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
So it's just totally integrated into my life, and people all around me know I'm just Mrs. Wikipedia around here. Just they know if I say I'm going to Utrecht. Oh, you're going to Wikipedia again? Yes. They know. I'm Wikipedia. I like Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josephine?
Not a very good delineation for me, because I actually my work with Wikimedia is partially funded through an individual engagement grant. So I do get paid for the work that we do with the app, the new features that we put out. But we also do a lot of unpaid work, such as helping the new volunteers who come into our code base, or organizing the hackathon, the pre-hackathon that we did in Prague last year, and mentoring the Google Summer of Code or outreach interns. So yeah, it is a really tough balance, especially if you want to sort of have relationships and hobbies aside from Wikimedia as well. Not that but it is really challenging. I'm not really sure if anyone really had an answer to this.
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Sorry?
Josephine, your video seems to be hogging up a lot of your bandwidth. If you mute your video,
Okay.
then your audio will stop breaking
Yeah,
up.
sorry about that. Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you good. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. Was I breaking up the entire time?
Yeah, we were trying to let you know in the chat.
Oh, sorry about that. So where were we?
I think you asked a question and we couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if anyone has actually found an optimal solution to the work-life balance question, or the work volunteer balance question. So I don't really know how I personally do it. Sometimes we make wrong decisions, and like I do end up procrastinating work in order to complete volunteer stuff, or vice versa. So I guess it's to me it's about learning how much I can actually put in, and not committing to more than I can actually handle, because sometimes it's so tempting, you're invited to do this and you're invited to do that, and you really want to do all of it, but when the commitments really start piling up, then yeah, you start to think like, maybe I should have, skipped that one for 2018.
Very true.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. There's a lot of questions like, can you help with this? Can you organize that? And as you say, we all want to do everything probably because it all looks interesting, and it all is interesting. But sometimes you have to say no, just to keep it a bit balanced.
Do you three have time for one last question, or should we wrap it up? Yeah? Okay. So the last question would be, what would be your advice for someone who is trying to bring more gender diversity to Wikimedia projects?
Well, I think my advice would be when it specifically comes to women in our gender gap group, as I said in the beginning, we organize a lot of participatory events where people can participate and write articles, but we've made it always very clear that there's more to, for example, working on Wikipedia than just writing a completely new article, that we've all, especially because it's so overwhelming when you first start that it feels like insurmountable, that there is so much to it that some women feel hesitant to even start, and that we've always stress that there's so much more than just writing a whole new article, that you can improve articles like stubs or any article that you feel confident on, that you can even contribute by just adding images or by adding references or stuff like that. And I've always felt for all the new women that wanted to participate that they always or often had the idea like it's too hard, I'm not sure if I can do this, and that we try and show them, just do it really. We can give workshops for hours and hours and show you everything on how to make a link and how to do all the practical stuff, but in the end just don't be hesitant and just do it, even if in the beginning it's just a sentence you change and that you see, okay, I contributed, and you don't have to immediately strive for that huge, article that you want to show off or so. That will, you'll end up doing that, but be confident or so. And for people who want to bring people in, more women, for example, teach them that confidence and show them how they can do specific practical things on Commons or on Wikidata or on Wikipedia.
I definitely. Oh, sorry. Go for it.
No, go ahead.
No, seriously.
I always start my workshops with telling people they cannot break anything on Wikipedia that I cannot restore. So that's in line with the confident part that Danielle is talking about. They're afraid of doing something wrong, and they're like, oh yeah, but I always tell them I can revert anything you do can be undone by me. We're working together on this great, magnificent project, and together we can create the sum of all human knowledge. So, yeah, and for people that are on Wikipedia already, my advice would be not to bite the newcomers and assume good faith, because they're really essential to gathering the sum. And the tone tends to be, sometimes becomes harsh on Wikipedia, confronting newcomers with their mistakes immediately, and don't do that. Be nice, please.
Yeah, I totally agree with both of you. It's really intimidating, joining for the first time. Like, you have no idea what is going on. What is this namespace thing? And, why does my photo have to be nominated for deletion? Why can't I delete it myself? What's fabricated? Lots of questions that I had when I first started. And, I think this, imposter syndrome thing is really common for many of us, but especially women. I know I personally suffer from it a lot, and it's easy to feel really intimidated, like you're not good enough to do any of this. And even now, after several years of working with the Commons app and being the project maintainer for 2 years, I sometimes have this, you ask yourself, what am I doing? Why am I such a noob? And I think that encouraging newcomers, telling them that it's okay if you make a mistake. As Ciel said, we can revert anything. All of the history is there. And that's the case for code contributions as well on GitHub. You cannot break the code so much that we can't fix it. And we won't let you, because we have to review it before we let it in. So just try it. And if you make a mistake, well, you're human. We're all human. We all make mistakes. So go for it. And sorry, yeah.
So maybe that's actually a very good, exercise on our hackathon. Let's try and break the code. And see it's impossible for anybody to make a mess of it or so. Well, one thing that's actually funny when you say about the imposter syndrome, stuff. We have a separate project here in the Netherlands. It's called Wiki Portraits, and it's sort of like an extra way, a different way of sending in pictures. So you send in a picture not directly to Commons, but on the Wiki Portrait. It's only for portraits of people, and I think they generally come to the OTRS team, and then they will put it on Commons if it's approved, and they will put the picture at the Wikipedia article. And if you look at, I personally have never specifically have like researched it in detail, but if you, I'm also an OTRS helper or participant, I don't know what you call it, but if you look at the photos that people send in from them for themselves, like the selfies, it's by far, I don't know, if I would make a guess, 80% men and 20% women. Men are so more, I don't know, used to finding that important, that they have a good picture and that they are even brave enough, I don't know what you would call it, but that they just send in their own pictures, while women are a lot more, they don't do that very quickly. So that's sometimes interesting to see, that there is also a difference there in what information people share. I just found that sort of, again, I haven't researched it officially, but there's definitely an imbalance in those two.
Okay, thank you so much for participating and for making such meaningful contributions and giving so much thought to these questions. I personally found this conversation really interesting. So thank you for taking the time to present to us all and to engage in conversation in this way.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, and thanks to
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone on YouTube who's watching as well. And I think that's it for today. Thank you all, and have a good rest of your day or night.